A note. Following advice from work-life imbalance may lead to action being taken by HR, your SOs, or authorities both higher and human. Welcome to Work-Life Imbalance, an advice show focusing on workplace and lifestyle issues. Any resemblance to actual advice, living or dead, or actual wisdom is purely coincidental. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Eastman.
And I am your other host, Derek Lewis.
So this is our first episode, and of course nobody knows who we are. So I figured I might ask a couple questions.
Okay, fire away, Frank.
All right, so what is your work background like?
I've been a software developer for about 10 years. I am not super interesting.
All right.
Worked at a textiles plant. Then I worked at wasn't a startup, but it kind of felt like a startup. Then I worked at a university for 5 years. Then I worked at my current employer for a couple of years doing library stuff. Cool company. Well, how about yourself, Frank? What is your line of work?
So my line of work, instead of software development, I am a project manager or what we call a Scrum Master now that we're in Agile. I actually like the term Scrum Master just because it's got master in there. Makes me sound a lot more important than I actually am.
Anything that raises you far above your station is good.
Exactly. Far, far above my station because I am, in fact, a glorified babysitter. I herd cats. I make sure that software developers are doing the things that they need to be doing, and also that they have no impediments to their being able to do them. From a historical standpoint, I've been doing this for 12 years now in various formats. I originally worked in advertising for about 10 years. So it's only been relatively recently that I have moved from software and advertising to software and something that isn't advertising. And it's sort of like going from, I don't know, a tank filled with piranha to just like those beautiful sort of delicate tropical fish tanks.
Right.
And it has taken a small amount of time to get used to it because I keep, freaking out and waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Frank, are you saying that I'm a tropical fish?
You are a delicate tropical fish.
I mean, I'll take that compliment. That's fine.
So what management experience, if any, do you have?
Yeah, when I was at the university, started out as a software developer, and we were only a couple of guys in the office, though there weren't a ton of us, but we really started to expand as some of our contracts grew. So I was kind of put in charge of several of the projects, and as the years kind of wore on, it just, my manager wanted to do less and less work. So he kept being like, "Hey, Derek, I don't want to do this call every week anymore. Do you want to handle it?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do that."
That's generally how we get new stuff.
So yeah, I ended up before I left the university, I ended up with, I think I had like 35 developers that were working under me. I'd like to say I was a project manager, but half the time I didn't even know what all of them were doing because the projects were so sporadic and spread out. But by and large, it was fun until they started to come at me with actual problems, and then that's just a bummer. It's like, oh, I need more money for my family. It's like, oh, don't. I'm in the same boat as you are. I don't get paid hardly anything. What? How can I get you more money when I don't even have money?
Exactly.
It's like, how is that possible?
Let me walk up the mount and see what I can come back with, and it is not much.
Right. And yeah, I mean, every year we would do raises. And I remember the first year that I was put in charge of the evaluations that would kind of turn into like the representative percentages for how much they were going to get raises. And so once I started looking at that, I was like, did Jeffrey really do like a 4 out of 5? So like I did them all, and then kind of looked back and I was like, oh man, I was really generous to everybody. Like I gave everybody really high scores, so now nobody gets a good raise. Like it's like when everybody gets a good raise, or when everybody gets the same score, nobody gets a good raise. And I was
If everyone's
like,
super, no one is.
exactly. So when Jeff would be like, oh yeah, Jeff didn't really do much. He did okay. Like he's fine. Like, I don't want to take money away from him. But I wouldn't give him like super big jump that like somebody who stayed till like 10 o'clock every weekend trying to do like these huge deployments and was under a bunch of stress and like really was a rock star. Like you want to have those differentiators. But like sometimes it was really hard, and there are a couple moments where being the boss were pretty shitty, but it was pretty cool to be, to be helping a lot of people, get their starts in software and things like that. It was pretty cool, but yeah, by the end I was like, yeah, my heart's just going to explode from all this stress if I don't leave. So I quit and became a developer again. It was great.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense, and that's definitely a track that a lot of people take. I mean, from a management perspective, I mean, I've always been like a project manager, but I ended up having a decent number of direct reports for a while, and then for a while I was actually a branch manager. We had opened up
like at a bank. It's like, okay,
not a, no,
advertising, and all of a sudden they give you a bank.
All not right, a bank. No, we had opened up a satellite office. A couple, like a state over, and they were looking for somebody to manage the satellite office, and I was like, sure, I'll go into more in the functional manager role. But the satellite office didn't necessarily pan out.
Did you actually move during that time?
I did. I picked up house. I moved. I went out there to be the manager of this new office. And then the what do we call it? The economic downturn turned down. And work started drying up for the company as a whole, and it wasn't like it was a sudden thing though. So I ended up becoming the Grim Reaper. Like we had this.
You were given the task of slowly choking the life out of every human at your office.
Yes, that was it. That office, I had to take it out behind the shed and put 2 in it, but it was just a fairly slow process and of just laying people off one after the other, and it got to the point where like if I said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" to somebody, they would just be like, Oh no, man! Don't.
It was instantly
me.
the harbinger of doom.
Exactly. I was like, I was just sweeping through there like fucking Darth Vader. Like everybody's going, "Oh God, no! He's stopping at my office." Oh no!
Yeah, you can't.
Off.
At that point, once you become the Grim Reaper, you can't just walk by and have like a conversation about the new Star Wars movie. Like you come by and you just poke your head in, and all of a sudden, like this like death knell starts rolling in the back of their head. So.
Exactly.
Kind of messes up the work dynamic a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends at that office fairly quickly. Because, nobody wants to hang out with the guy that at any minute, he's going to look you in the eyes and go, "So, it's not you, but..."
But it is.
Yeah.
See, well, the thing is that, like, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I've always kind of thought that you were less about like acquiring friends and more about just acquiring like apostates, like getting that group of people that could I don't know, be subservient in a cult, provide some sort of useful some sort of use in that nature.
I don't think I haven't successfully started my own cult yet, but
hey, it's the new year. What better time to start your cult?
Exactly, like
than the new year.
we've done away with 2017. 2018 is here. I guess some people have New Year's resolutions that are like, I want to work out more, or I want to lose weight, and mine's like, I want apostles.
I want disciples to carry my message to the end of the earth. And,
exactly.
Well, I mean, what's your message? It's like apathy,
mostly
general malaise. It's like I don't think I really set out too many like true resolutions for this New Year's, but just kind of harping on what you said about working out more and losing weight. I want to lose weight, but by God, if I work out any more than I do right now, my muscles may just rip, and I may fall into a pile of sludge.
I could see that, because I know that you have been attending the Iron Church with great regularity here of recent.
Yeah, it's been tough as a guy of very little physical prowess and large stature. It's been tough, but
are you seeing the gains?
After the year that, I'm seeing, well, both yes and no. I'm getting more muscle, but this holiday season has been rough.
Oh yeah.
I'm not losing muscle. We're still going to the gym, but my workout shirts are getting a little tighter. So maybe I need to cut back on the holiday knish. But no, after like the first 8 months of the dumpster fire that was 2017, I think the working out has helped me like get out some of my frustration. So it's like I don't have to hate the world. I can just hate my body for an hour at a time. There we go.
I haven't thought of that one. Internalizing through externalizing.
It's like self-harm, but it's both harm and beneficial. I feel a lot when I'm at the gym. It's just normally like agony. General wish for death. Yeah.
I mean, that's what is pain is just weakness leaving the body. Alternately, it's pain.
Yeah, it is purely pain. I feel weakness. I feel weakness entering my body during those training sessions. But no, still a long road to hoe, and 2018. I'm going to not do less than I did last year. There we go. That's all I can hope for.
We're going to have to engrave that on a stone. 2018, I'm not going to do less than I did last year.
Right. Yep.
I've been meaning to go to the gym and do more in the way of working out. Some free weight stuff.
As opposed to just going to the gym and just observing the pain and feasting upon it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I've been showing up, and I'm like, yeah, today's the day that I'm going to do that thing where I guess you lift heavy stuff. I don't know, fuck it, I'm just going to walk on the treadmill for a half hour.
Well, the thing is about the lifting weights is that like some weightlifting is kind of heavy, like, some pressing, that's going to be kind of heavy. Some some curling, that might be kind of heavy, but like anything that says like a raise, that if you're doing that with more than like 15 pounds, you're gonna die. Like, because my tiny little shoulder muscles, it's like doing these little raises. It's like 15 pounds 3 or 4 times, and my arms are gonna fall off. So.
I figure that if I'm gonna do anything, I should probably just go straight to that strongman stuff, the Nordic
just
shit.
Grab the caber.
Yeah,
and go to work.
Just go to work that way. Like I'm not gonna go for the sculpting or the bodybuilding. I want to be built like someone who's named Magnus, son of Magnus. And just like he lifts buildings and carries them. He's a little dumpy around the middle, sure, but I'm not going to tell him that.
Magnus, son of Magnus, like that could not be more Nordic if they.
Oh
tried.
yeah, Magnus von Magnuson, I think, was one of the champion, world strongman guys.
And he must have been like at the top of his game for a while, because like years ago, back before I had cable, I mean, I would go to my grandparents and watch the Strongman, and like even I guess I was in like early 2000s. Like I remember seeing. Okay, so it's one of two things. It's either that guy's been in the game forever, or they all have the exact same fucking names. Like that is also a possibility. Yeah, I haven't kept up for a while. Ever since what's his name? The Mountain from Game of Thrones has been kind of running that shit start to finish for a while. Haven't kept up with it too much.
Yeah, the Mountain. That guy. His first name is like Half Thor.
Yeah.
Half Thor.
Well, if he's half Thor, who's full Thor?
Thor, of course, is full Thor. But I would hate to see exactly what full Thor looks like, because shit.
Yeah. It's like two half Thors taped together.
And that guy's like 6'9", so that's like 14 feet of Thor.
Now, here's the thing. I was thinking two Thors taped like back to back, but you went with the taped vertically.
Yeah, no, exactly. Two Thors standing on one another in a truly enormous trench coat with a hat.
Thor Adultman.
Exactly. Yes, I am regular man.
See, like to me, like it didn't even occur that you could tape them end to end to get one especially long Thor. I'm not saying that's useful. I'm just saying that it shows the way that different people think.
And so here's an interesting one.
All right.
So how Half Thor ended up getting into Strongman? Magnus v. Magnuson.
Really?
Yeah, met him at his gym, and Magnus was like, I would like to take him under my wing.
He saw the diamond in the rough, and was like, yes, I shall make him strong.
The diamond in the rough here being like a man literally the size of a goddamn mountain.
All right, I think we've gone on about big burly men quite enough.
Yeah, we're going to end up getting a reputation.
Right. This is the podcast where two grown adult men talk about other beefy men.
Welcome back to Cubcast.
Oh, no. Oh. All right. So, in the inaugural question, I've got an issue for you.
Okay.
And this is what food is appropriate to eat or heat in the office, in your opinion?
This is one of those sort of perennial office issues. I do know that not fish.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That was kind of my primary culprit, I believe, is fish. And I wouldn't even exclude all fish, because I've had some fish that were not too bad, but like if you're considering like lutefisk, you can just go right to hell.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some fish that is okay, but generally if it's next day fish, like if it's leftovers and I'm bringing it to the office and I'm putting it into the shared microwave, yeah, no, that is just not right.
No, I agree. Back when I worked at the university, we had a fairly large office setting, or we had a couple different offices. We moved and kind of reconfigured it a few times, but there were a couple times where like we'd have like 3 or 4 rooms that had 20 people under 10 to 20 people, and in our room, like where all my folks were, we had a microwave, and when every room had a microwave, it was not a big deal. But then, slowly but surely, everybody else's microwave started to break. And so they started using our microwave. And, like, I was in meetings all the time, so I wasn't always, like, necessarily there for the fallout. But, like, somebody would come in. Somebody would come in with a bowl of broccoli, stick it in the microwave, and hit 10 and walk out.
Oh, God.
And so it like after minute 3, it was like, oh my god, it was like the worst locker room. like at like a, I don't know, like a, I mean, the locker room at like a Chipotle or something like that. I mean, it was like, oh my god. And I mean, we had guys, we had folks just sitting there, and you could see it kind of like reach different parts of the room, because the people in the front, like after 2 minutes, like they were kind of like prairie dogs, like they just stick their heads up, go, what the fuck is that? And so then they realized the microwave was on, and then you kind of see like the next row of cubes, and then the next row of cubes, and all of a sudden the guy in the corner stood up and was like looking over the cubes, and it was like, okay, who's microwaving shit?
Who has done this?
I wouldn't say the worst part, but another one of the terrible parts about it was the fact that the person came back and opened up the microwave, got their broccoli, and started to walk out. And I'm like, hold on.
Wait.
It's like, you just walked in and microwaved broccoli for an inordinate amount of time, and you don't even have a sorry to say. Like, I was like, I wanted an apology. I wanted contrition.
You don't even have the decency to look ashamed.
Right. Didn't even have the decency to be appalled at his actions. But no. So we put up a rule that there were a certain things that could not be microwaved. Broccoli was like in 25 point or 24 point font, underlined, bolded. Like, that was
classic passive aggressive office note.
It wasn't even passive aggressive.
It was just,
if somebody walked in with broccoli, I told them to get out.
It was just aggressive at that point. Huh?
Just regular aggressive. You can go to hell. Because there was a microwave in the front office, but the front office people kept sending him down to our room because they didn't want to smell it. It's like, wait a minute.
Go down to where we keep the nerds.
It's like, no, I'm not going to be subjected to that. Go subject the nerds to that.
The basement dwellers, that's their kind of thing anyway.
All right, so we got fish and broccoli, which are two no-goes. What is something else that you have found particularly offensive?
Let's see. In general, anything that's heavily spiced, and the thing is, heavily spiced can go two ways. Like, sometimes someone is making leftovers, and everybody is like, "Oh, damn, what is that? That smells good." But then, it's just as likely that you're cooking, leftover lasagna or something, and it's just like, oh god, that's reeking, and it's reeking all the way across the office.
Garlic specifically. Yeah, garlic has this kind of note of I don't know, it just kind of clings to all the porous fabric in the room.
Yeah. And then there it is forever. So yeah, I would definitely say broccoli. Who eats that much broccoli? Nobody needs that much broccoli. It's supposed to be good for you, but it could be a hazard to your health if you're cooking it in the microwave at the office.
We've been kind of going on the heating element, but heating element. But just like people bringing in food, period. Like, sometimes you'll go to like get someplace just around the corner and bring it back, and all of a sudden the whole office, like 1,000 square feet of office, smells like gross oil and hush puppies.
Yeah.
Like, even without having to heat them at the office, those are offensive enough. And here's the thing: being a fat guy, it's not just the terrible smelling food that's a problem. Because if I'm on a diet, which, I almost always am, and you bring in like the best smelling pizza ever,
yep,
I hate you.
Yep.
Maybe you're not a bad person, but I hate you for not knowing about my personal struggles and catering specifically to my neurosis about good smelling food.
You don't know anybody else's journey. Well, maybe it's just, I think for office etiquette, just anything that's got a smell to it
Pungency.
that you can detect from like more than 5 feet away. I think that's just Yeah, that's just no go. I,
I agree. And
that or everybody has to eat mashed potatoes.
which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for mashed potatoes.
Food in the office actually segues into an audience question if you wanted to run in that direction.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this one was sent in by BRG, and they say, in videos from various online content companies, there's always an office kitchen, in quotes, set with free snacks. Is this really a thing that offices do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on, what industry you're in, things like that. I've worked at a couple where they had like these really nice office kitchenettes, and they, like they had like fresh fruit stocked and things like that, and they had all you could drink soft drinks and things like that. I mean, some of them can be pretty nice, but then I've had some that basically a dorm room kitchenette would put them to shame. I know that you worked at the same company for a while. Like, what was their kitchen situation?
The kitchen situation there, I mean, it was... Well, here's the thing about working in advertising. Sometimes things are good, and then sometimes things are not good. So one of the ways that you can tell whether things are good or things are not good is, like, when things were good, we would have just, like, bowls of fruit set out all over the place for people to snack on, and, like, free soda and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like a kegerator filled with beer, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this must have been the feast part of the cycle.
Yeah, the feast part of the cycle. But then sometimes you'd get to the famine part of the cycle, and, suddenly all that fruit disappears. Suddenly all the soda disappears.
Yeah.
The kegerator has been, quietly moved somewhere else and is no longer plugged in, and that kind of thing. So it can go both ways. I will say that I've seen this the most in advertising, media, and software.
Yeah, definitely. Although I will say, fruit, free drinks, all that jazz, that's kind of a running thing. Like, a lot of companies are tossing that out as things to draw in some younger folks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, most of these places also have kitchens, like full-blown kitchens. Like the place where I worked, it had a stove, it had an oven, it had 2 or 3 microwaves that got used. But, like, it had the full-blown kitchen. It had a blender. It had a blender, for God's sake.
I haven't had a blender in any of mine.
But nobody used them. Like, and these were like all stainless steel appliances. So they've spent like between like the stove and the oven, whatever fancy schmancy blender you can get, spent like $2,000 on these appliances that literally nobody used except for to set catered food on. Like,
Right.
that is literally all they ever got used for.
And look at this stove. It's really nice. And I opened up a pizza box on top of it. So here's the thing. Like, I think you touched on it a little bit, but the reason they do this is so that people are more likely to stay at work. Like, if you've got food
Absolutely.
that you can just have there, then, you don't notice that you're there for 10, 12, 14 hours. And then the
Right.
expectation becomes that you're going to be at the office for 10, 12 hours every single workday.
Right. And so you have like, after work you have like maybe like a beer social or something like that where they bring, a few nice-ish bottles. Like, you're not going with like super fancy beer, but like you're not bringing out the Natty Lights. And, everybody kind of drinks for a couple hours, and then it's like, oh, look at that, it's time for the deployment. And then so it's like 7:30, and, you spent 2 hours like chilling at work. Between, you could have gone and done something else, but instead you stayed at work and drank, a limited amount of free beer and socialized.
Oh,
It's wasted your time.
I've done
My
that.
God.
Like, as a manager, if I've got a deployment that's going out or something like that, then yeah, I've gone out. I've literally pushed the beer cart around with it was like the employee happiness index cart. was written on
Right.
the side of it, and I was wheeling it around like.
So what all did it have on it?
I mean, it had various types of beers, but I figured out what the kinds of beers were that the various people drank, and I would literally go out and grab sixers of stuff. For some people I've got the really expensive Grav beers, and some folks
Yeah.
are drinking hard cider or whatever.
Some Drambu.
Exactly, really good stuff, and then I'd come back and I've got it on ice, and I literally in a cart, and I was wheeling it around, passing it out, because I needed these guys to be there until 7 or 8 p.m. to get this last push out the door.
Right.
So I've done
I
it.
can see that. Yeah.
I'm the devil.
And whenever I was getting into the industry, like I had heard about Google and about their offices and how everybody aspired to be Google. And then I learned about like the pods that they have, like the sleep pods.
Oh yeah.
And at first I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You can totally just like go take a nap. And I was pretty excited for a couple of years until I got into the industry and started working. And then I realized, oh my God, this is so that you don't go home. Like,
Yes.
You literally like, you take a 4-hour nap, you do your deployment, you sleep, you take another 4-hour nap, and then you're back at work for a full day. It's like, maybe that's not what they use it for all the time, but like the only people that are going to use those things are the people that are sleep deprived because they've been expected to do too much work.
Exactly.
And that startles me.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, once your salary, it doesn't matter if you work 40 hours or 60 hours, you're getting paid the same. So if we can get you to stay in the office an extra 5-10 hours a week, that's worth it. That's money.
All right. So, I want to get into an issue from the internet.
All right.
I can't read the username, so we're not gonna give them a name.
Rick.
Rick. There we go. Rick says, "What, if anything, do I do about toilet wankers at work?"
This has changed.
So I moved to a new, smaller team of 8 guys a few months ago, and apart from being in a cramped, smaller space in a horrible part of the building, it was fine. They're good guys, if a little laddish. So apparently they're British. I'm a bit confused about something that I think might be going on there, though. The toilets off the office are really only used by our team, and a few days after starting down there, I was using them for their intended purposes, aka shitting. And I heard shuffling from the adjacent cubicle.
Oh no.
I ignored it, but it became increasingly obvious one of the guys was masturbating in there.
Oh man.
I found it sort of funny at the time because when I hear men masturbating less than 3 feet from me, it's very funny.
Yep. Welcome back to the Cubcast.
At the time, but said nothing. Anyway, it kept happening. I'd be using the toilet and shuffle from the next cubicle. Not every day, but often enough if I use the toilet, I hear that. I don't particularly care. I'm no prude. Just they felt like they had to throw that out there in case you thought the problem was just the masturbation.
Yeah, like, oh no, so prudish. Look at Rick over here. Doesn't like people jerking it in the office.
Don't mind me. Just office wanking over here. But this past week, I was in the middle cubicle. Oh, God. So he's getting double teamed. In the middle cubicle when I realized it's coming from both sides, and it wasn't subtle. So I nearly drop a lung to hurry up. Oh, that is far too evocative.
Oh,
Drop a lung to hurry
oh
up.
no.
Oh, that's a hideous turn of phrase. And get out of there. I knew who it was, as there were only 2 guys missing from their desks.
No.
And then looking slightly flushed, they each returned.
Oh no.
And one of them even let out a satisfied sigh
Oh.
and lit up a cigarette. No, that didn't.
Okay.
When he sat down, it's getting quite brazen at this point, and so I suspect they're all openly masturbating in the toilets, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I think they want me to acknowledge it. Wait, what? I did not read that part. I think they want me to acknowledge it and mention that I don't care. but I find it super embarrassing. Oh my god.
No.
I hope that's a bad read.
No.
Because, like, look, if people were whacking it near me and, I heard them, like, unless they were making eye contact with me while they were doing it, I would have no notion that they would want me to say anything about it whatsoever.
Oh. No, like, this is just in the office. You don't pull a Louis C.K. Like, that is... even...
Oh, that's topical.
Even before then, it was not right. Now we've got, a whole new term to use for it, but fuck me, no.
Oh. I did not know this is a thing, a kind of working culture I've managed to remain oblivious to. Maybe I should just leave them to it. Well,
this is not a working culture.
Yes, you certainly should.
This is something completely different.
Maybe I should leave them to it without comment and pretend it isn't obvious.
Like, if they were to come out of those the cubicles...
You can't say if they were to come when we're talking about...
Oh, jeez. Oh, God, I'm sorry. But if they were to show up and they were wearing, like, some sort of cult regalia where, they were like, we've been wanting you to recognize for weeks now, Rick, that we are worshiping the Dark Lord in the bathroom. I would be like,
that is
the
worst
God.
Euphemism for masturbating I've ever heard.
Holy shit, I thought you guys were jerking in there. The whole time, I didn't realize that it was just like, some light devil worship. This is, all right, I feel much better now.
It's like finding out that it was devil worship actually made it better. Like, made it a better work culture.
Oh, yeah, no, I would be far more comfortable in that office. Like, oh, all right, okay, you guys are, see, I'm sorry. I don't know where my mind was, but that was the first place I went to, but...
Oh, my God. Sorry, guys, this one's on me. I wasn't quite up on my knowledge of... ancient incantations. But you know what? This is 2017, and at this point, I can be cool with it. That's fine.
But yeah, no. If it's office wankers, then no, we cannot have that.
But like, how do you? Oh, this one. There's so much to unpack because A, they're doing it, which is awful. B, they're not really being clandestine about it. Like they're being God, how do you what are you doing to make a shuffling sound? Like, obviously I know the mechanics. I'm just curious about, like, do you have really dry skin?
like are you really going to town that you're like your feet are just like jerking across the floor or something?
Right? I mean, my God. And like, then the notion that somebody else would want you to comment on it. Like, what would possess you? Like, I don't know. This is not something I've encountered, thank God.
Yeah, no.
I have never been doing my duty and heard a rigorous shuffling from the next stall. I don't know. Maybe like pass him
a dirty magazine. I don't know. What are you supposed to? No, I mean that is just that is a no. You have to, if you're gonna have that conversation, and it sounds like you have to if they're escalating. If it was because at the beginning of it, they're like, every couple of days, and now it's like I am flanked by double wankers.
No, see, here's the problem. You're talking about escalation. What's the next step? How they're tag team wanking this guy. And, wait,
that's a completely different one. Although I might be leading in that direction. Like, I'm wondering.
That's the thing. Like, what in the world is next? Like, if they're getting brazen enough to just do it in doubles, and then like come back and like just sit down and go, oh man,
what a day!
That was nice.
Oh, it's good.
That was nice.
The only thing I can think of is I was joking about it being some sort of weird cult, but maybe it's a weird cult in the other direction. Like maybe they're wanting this guy to join, their very weird orgy cult or something at the office. They're like, oh shit, there's a new guy. We're gonna have to stop having, these rampant orgies in the office.
See, that's the thing. Is that, like, I think that's also kind of a category that you need to place on this. Like, is it a sex cult or is it like just like a regular devil worship cult? Because, like, summoning demons in the bathroom, while I think the space could be a concern, really not, something that other people need to be involved in. But like a sex orgy cult, like that's something that elicits team participation. So I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we can't just say like any cult. Maybe it has to be a non-sex based cult.
Yeah, I think cults that involve any sort of sexual rites are not good office cults. I think I can firmly place that one in the ground. I'm willing to put a marker in the sand, as it were, and say that no one needs sex-based cults in the office. The next one up from there, sort of like worshiping ancient and unspeakable deities in the restroom. A little more allowable, but still not necessarily something you should be doing during business hours.
Right, and the question is, like, are you attempting to summon them or just, like, passing them a little note? Like, are you just giving them a little loving that demon, or which I guess that could be a horrible.
I was gonna say we're back to the other one again.
Yeah. But no, I think that as long as you're not like summoning the demon into the restroom, which I guess that could be like a poop joke maybe, summoning the demon. Wow, there's a lot of material here.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's just your religious practice, then everyone is, everyone, as long as they're not infringing on others, should be and are allowed to practice their religion as they will, even if I guess that involves some sort of communing with dark forces in the restroom.
Right. Yeah, as long as, like I said, as long as they are not summoned to cause harm to this mortal plane or something like that. Which, if they were going to, like, I think that Elder God would be kind of pissed if you summoned them, right after you drop the deuce, just like summon Satan. He's like, dude, you didn't even flush before I got here.
Who has summoned me? Wait, what? Oh, dude, Grody.
Like, Steven, this is the third time this week. You have got to flush before you summon me. Oh, my God.
Oh, but no, yeah. Even if
I don't know how to fix this. Like,
get a new job, man.
Like, I mean, another thing, like, I don't even understand the mechanics of this, because the thing is, like, if I were to want to rub one out at work, I mean, where do you put the candles? Where's the room for the boombox?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
And really, like, the acoustics of the room would be terrible for the slow jams. So I mean, how can you possibly, accomplish the task without the environment set up the right way?
Exactly.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not a conducive environment in the first place, but I guess some people are really dedicated. But again, just out of the office, and I've never gotten people who are like, yeah, this stall in the public restroom, this is making me hot and bothered. Like, no, just, oh God, no.
I mean, I have been hot and bothered while in a stall, but not necessarily in the colloquial way.
Yeah, this is at a music festival.
Right. God, most of my hot and bothered in the turlet has to do with some visit to Taco Bell or something like that. No, but this one is one of those ones where You just got to look at it, not look at it.
No.
To observe, not observe, to appreciate that it's happening, and just know that if you want to keep the job, you're just gonna have to play it cool. But I don't know if I'd need that job that much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because as we said, like, it sounds like there's escalation. If there's escalation involved, if you're using the word escalation in this,
Right.
it is definitely time to look for a new job. Like, cultural fit is definitely important when it comes to employment.
And our culture
And if the
is open door, double team masturbation in stalls.
I mean, if the company culture is all right, so here's the coffee maker. All the stuff for making coffee is in the drawer underneath. Here's the restroom. Everyone, usually goes in there and really rubs one out at least once or twice a day. Feel comfortable. Like, that's some shit that you need to get out up front.
That should be in the interview. Like, that is in the onboarding packet.
Yeah, that is definitely in the onboarding packet. Like, company benefits. Here's my insurance. Jerking off every day. Okay, that's. I don't know if I'm gonna accept this offer.
Oh my god. Yeah, any office where you have to refer to the bathroom as the spank tank, not one that I would consider spending too much time in.
Yeah, I don't even want to join the office, softball team.
Oh god, because then in the locker room, it's the same thing, but with less walls. Oh god, that is horrifying.
Yeah.
Save me from this hell, Frank.
Well, the only thing I can think to save us from this hell is to tell this individual to definitely get a new job. And then I think this is just a quit. No, you don't need that job. There's other things, man. You're gonna end up in a freaky
if your
sex
coworker's
cult.
got to rub it, you must acquit.
Yeah, like, you're just gonna end up in a freaky sex cult if you stay there. That's how it goes. Now, if you're down for freaky sex cult, I'm not judging. I mean, we said this is a judgment-free zone. If you are part of a freaky sex cult, don't call in all upset. But again, that's something that you sort of put in the onboarding packet that this is a freaky sex cult.
Frank, remind me after we're done. I have a startup to pitch to you.
Okay.
But,
all right.
we may have to workshop.
Okay, we might need to workshop it a little bit. So I think if you have questions and you're one of the new listeners, please send your questions on workplace or lifestyle issues to questions@wlicast.com. And we will definitely address them on air. Not that we will give you any decent advice.
Please, if it's another masturbation-related one, please consult your human resources specialist. I wouldn't necessarily ask us.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a time-sensitive issue.
Yeah, no, that's definitely go to HR. And with that, I think we're going to have to transfer you.